Did you hear what Donald Trump's daughter Ivanka said? Does she want her father Donald to reconsider and run for president? Find out. Here's Donald Trump. Donald, nice to talk to you.
Hello, Greta.
So, Donald, I want to read two things to you. First, from HollywoodLife.com. This is your daughter, in which she says, this is Ivanka, she says, he hasn't decided, meaning you, to run yet, but I hope he would. I do think he'd make a good president. I think he'd be phenomenal. Now that's followed by a tweet from you in which it says, my daughter Ivanka thinks I should run for president. Maybe I should listen. Is the door open?
Well, Ivanka's very outstanding, and it's nice to know that she loves her father. But, you know, it would be nice if we had some candidates that could get out there and compete fairly with each other. Ultimately, one will win, but don't destroy each other. I mean, they're just absolutely destroying each other.
But
and
you
the big beneficiary is going to be Obama.
But you say, maybe I should listen. And what does that mean?
Well, a lot of people want me to run. I mean, I'm getting it all the time. You saw the poll that came out recently where it said I was the #1 independent candidate. I am concerned if I run as an independent that I'll take a lot of votes away from the Republicans and Obama will walk in. So that does concern me a lot.
Are we a little bit farther down the road towards considering running than the last time we spoke, or not?
Well, we are. As you know, I can't run during the course of the show. The laws prohibit it, which is, I think, very unfair, the equal time laws, and they make it impossible to run during the show, which goes on right after the Super Bowl, The Apprentice. And so, you know, I really don't have a choice for a period of about 13 weeks. I just have no choice. But let's see what happens.
All right, so you don't have a decision, and you can't
make a decision. Well, I'm not allowed to make that decision.
And I understand you're not allowed to make that decision. Is it fair to say, though, that you're leaning in one direction? I know you haven't made the decision, and you can't make the decision, but how about just leaning?
Well, let's not even use the word leaning. I'm very, very disappointed in what's happening to this country. I'm very, very disappointed that the Republicans are just absolutely killing each other, and, you know, somebody can say, oh, gee, that's good because it keeps them in the press, it keeps them in the news. Last year it was over. Last time it was over fairly early, and John McCain, who's a wonderful guy, but nobody talked about him for a long time, and Obama ended up winning. So, you know, maybe it's a positive, but I don't think so. I think they're really doing destruction to the Republican Party. I think it's very, very bad.
All right, so I can't get a word from, sort of a hint either way whether they're leaning towards or not.
I mean, I'd love to tell you, but during the course of the show, unfortunately, I'm not allowed to announce anything, so I guess I can't.
All right. Okay. Now, the other thing is that the president said last night in the State of the Union that he's getting tough on China.
Yeah,
I certainly know that. Well, okay. That's what I was going to say. Do you buy that?
That's a joke. I heard that, and I just laughed to myself because China's laughing along with me. They can't believe what they're getting away with. And he's saying that because now people are understanding before him that China's just walking away with this country. And, you know, say what you want about a lot of companies. I'm a big Steve Jobs fan. He was a guy that I had a lot of respect for. I met him a number of times and liked him. But it would be so much better if they made their product here. That would be the real success for Apple, if they could make their product, or at least some of it, in this country.
You say it's a joke. Are you saying that the president isn't serious about it? Do you think he's new to the thought? Do you think he's sincere about trying? Why do you think the president said it?
I think he's way over his head. I don't think he knows what's happening. And this is the first time I've heard this kind of a statement from him. I think he's been listening to me probably on your show. It's the first time he's heard. I've been saying this for 3 years, and now all of a sudden he comes out with this stuff. In fact, I was absolutely shocked when I heard him all of a sudden make this strong statement about China, because he hasn't been making them at all. But what is he doing? He's doing nothing. That's the problem. His speech was all rhetorical. It was just words, and it was very boring.
Is there, besides being very boring in your words, is there anything he said that you thought, aha, he's really going to do that? That's a great idea.
Well, the great thing would have been what he said about China, but he's not going to follow through because he doesn't follow through. But the great thing he said, and the best thing he said, was his stance on China. I love that. Unfortunately, he's not going to do anything about it. His ambassador and his representative, I've dealt with that man. It's pathetic. I mean, it's absolutely pathetic. I've had dealings with them, and it's absolutely pathetic. They are so afraid of China. It's like I've never seen anything like it. So he won't do anything. It's just words. And the problem with his speech, it's the same words over and over again. And, you know, you're almost wasting time because nothing will happen. But I did like what he said about China. Unfortunately, he won't follow through.
All right, if you had to vote today for president, and you said, and if you're going to vote Republican, is it going to be Governor Romney, Speaker Gingrich, Senator Santorum, or Congressman Ron Paul, and why today?
Well, I'm not going to say, but I will tell you it's probably at some point I'm going to have to make a decision, and they do want my endorsement. At least 3 of them do. I can tell you that.
But there must be one of them that is sort of spiking your interest a little bit. Something that's going on, something he said, something in the past couple of days. I mean, everyone's watching this very closely, and I know you are.
Well, they are, and I'm watching it very closely. And I think there are certain real positives for Romney, and there are real positives for Gingrich, and there are some negatives. I think, as an example, that Governor Romney should be more proud of the American dream. It's like he's trying to hide something, and there's nothing to hide with being successful. And Newt has done a very good job in many ways. And, I like both men very much. I've gotten to know them very well. And, at some point, I'm probably going to make a decision.
Who do you think is going to win Florida? Because you have a home in Florida, spent a lot of time in Florida. Do you have sort of a sense of who you think is going to prevail?
Well, look, you see what's happened with the polls. I mean, 2 weeks ago, Mitt was way, way up, and now it looks like he's down in the polls, and that's tremendous momentum. But this whole thing is all about momentum, and it's never been like this before, Greta. There's never been a race like this before. From 1 week to another, people go up 25 points in 1 week. Nobody's ever heard of a thing like this, and it has to do with momentum. And when Newt won South Carolina, that was tremendous momentum, and he won it big. And it seems to be carrying over to Florida.
Donald, thank you as always. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Greta.